Welcome to Game of Roses. I'm Chad Kulchin. I'm going to be breaking down Bachelor in Paradise Season 10, Episode 3. Very interesting. This is our March of the Goldens. It's our first opportunity to witness how they are going to be utilized, at least to some degree, in this franchise, in this season. Overall, my thoughts were, I still don't know what to make of it. I don't know if Scott Teddy knows what to make of how the Goldens were going to be infused in the season. They just seem to be kind of there, a little bit of comedic relief. We got something in the end there in the teaser that maybe they're going to be making out. We did see a shot of them in the teaser at the end of them at a rose ceremony, so perhaps they will be giving out roses as well. We're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen there. We're also getting that kind of forced story with Jonathan and April that maybe she'll give him a rose and keep him around. And that seems like they're at least implying that's going to be what the big kind of dramatic moment is at the next rose ceremony. Does it work? I am not sure. It's, again, as I said in the prior recap, it's very difficult to divorce this show from Love Island USA Season 7, which just concluded. The comparisons must be drawn. I think they are being drawn in everyone's minds who have watched both shows. And this just seems to pale a little bit in comparison. That said, some very good things were done in this episode. Some interesting plays, some very bad plays also. Some of the biggest errors we have yet seen in Paradise. It does feel like a lot of these players are not very well versed in the mechanics of this game. And especially the guys, they are just tripping all over themselves and doing terrible plays. Let's get into it. Portion 1 begins. We see night 5 of Paradise on screen. We come in where we left off, this disastrous rose ceremony. Spencer gets the colorful narrator ITM reminding us that everything's in disarray. He is speechless. Justin has stormed out. Susie has chased him. People have been eliminated. So Allie Joe is giving the death stare to Dale Moss, he says. Lexi has stormed out. Glaze is gone. Everything is completely fucked up. We then get this little scene where Dark Lord Palmer is talking to Justin Glaze in the shadows. Glaze is explaining that he and Susie's history of being friends before dating is important to him. He sheds tears. He talks about how when they started dating, they made an agreement. No matter if that went sour, they would remain friends, have each other's back if it didn't work out. DLP then gives him the chance to talk to Susie. Sorry, DLP then gives him the chance to talk one more time to Susie. And he's like, no, fuck it, I'm going home. DLP says you can give your rose to somebody by proxy, though, if you want, through DLP to give another player a chance to say. And he says, yeah, that's fine. Do whatever you want, but I'm gone. Susie then tries to talk to him outside of his door, but he has told producers he doesn't want to talk to anybody. So she is rebuffed. Jeremy then ITMs that he's second guessing his decision now to give Bailey his rose. He should have given it to Susie. Susie then comes back to the group. DLP addresses them all, and he tells them that Glaze is going home, but his rose has to be given to one of the remaining women to find love in the paradise. He gives it to Jill Chin, which is the correct choice. She is, at least at this point in the season, to me, the most entertaining player they have on the beach. Jill says, no, fuck this. I don't want this. I don't want to be just like a second chance, a kind of... just a pity rose. DLP has to convince her to take it. She ITMs, well, the rose is like revenge. Good anytime you can get it. So we then formally say goodbye to Allie Joe, Zoe, who gets a final parting shot against Brian in her exit speech, calling him a fucking loser. Gore Girl Susie Evans is gone, and Lexi is gone, as well as Justin Glaze. This is, in my opinion, a massive mismanagement by the producers. And for the first time, I have like some real questions about how Teddy is running the show, Scott Teddy, and his producer tier. You have Susie Evans, who is arguably the biggest star on this season, did not last through one day of Paradise, or one cycle of it, I should say. You have Justin Glaze, who is another one of the biggest stars. This is a runner-up from Katie Thurston's season, obviously disappeared in the edit in that season. Nonetheless, he is a prominent figure within the nation, has been for a while now. He's gone as a result of this. On the night that men had the roses, they had the power. He chose to use his power to say, fuck this, I'm out. And it's all because of how they brought in Susie Evans. Had they had her there from the beginning, allowed her and Justin Glaze to have that conversation on day one. Listen, I know this is awkward, but we both want to find love. We have each other's backs. You could have developed an amazing dynamic duo with them that would allow their narrative to have been a healing one. We are going to finally be over our breakup as we watch and even help one another fall in love with other people. Instead, they bring her in as this wedge that they try to drive between Justin Glaze, and at this time Lexi, but could have been anybody he was dating. That was her narrative purpose. They had made that decision prior to even shooting the season that we're going to have this recently broken up couple in Bachelor Nation. One of them is going to come out first. The other one's going to come out second and try to implode that other person's relationship. Well, congratulations, you did it. And now you've got two of your biggest players out of the game, two of the most narratively interesting players completely out of the game of their own accord, just saying, fuck this sucks, I'm leaving. And this is the old way of producing. This is the old mentality. We saw them do this with, Grocery Store Joe. I mean, Jesus, who can forget when Grocery Store Joe is about to propose to then simply his girlfriend, Serena Pitt, on his season of Bachelor in Paradise, and they bring back out Kendall Long, his ex, to try and interrupt that. It's just a time-honored tradition in Bachelor in Paradise that does not work anymore. It has never really worked. It always feels very hacky to me. And in this case, it has massive detrimental consequence to the overall cast. Also, none of these other players want to see this happening. They're all a little saddened now. The tone has dropped down. It was just, in my opinion, a big mistake by the producers here. DLP then says some old friends are going to be showing up tomorrow. And we see this boat at the end of portion one coming in. Golden Paradise is about to change. No cap. This says, I forget who said that. Why are they making, I think it might have been Keith. Or maybe it was Jack. He's like, we're about to change paradise, no cap. Why are they doing this? And they run the same type of joke through the entire episode. They make the Goldens use slang that is not of their generation. Is this funny? Not to me. Portion 2 begins. We see text on screen letting us know it's day 6 of Paradise, and an unnamed canine entity runs on the beach under the text. And this canine representative of the 6th day of Scott Teddy's new version of Paradise was not my creature of the week, but I did think I needed to mention it, show the proper attention, because Pace Case would have liked that. She's not here with me again today. Still ill, still under the weather. Wishing her well. I hope you get better soon, Pace Case. We see Spencer then telling Bailey that he can't believe everything that happened last night. And she also is in disbelief. Bailey says she had to disassociate to deal with the prior night. That's never good. When you have your players on camera saying how uncomfortable the situation is, it's always bad. You don't want that. This is a holdover from old Paradise. The idea that they're putting you through torture. You just don't want that. You want to have the players having fun, partying, like Love Island. We then see Spencer asking her if she'd go on a date with somebody else. She said she would. They're not closed off, still open as options open. Jeremy then is in the pool telling Brian about how much his jaw hurt from laughing so hard with his perfect date with Susie. And he says he's going to send her a DM when he gets his phone back and gets out of here. Alex ITMs that people are hitting it off. And she gets the colorful narrator ITM giving us the couples rundown. There's Kat and Dale, Brian and Parisa, Jess and Spencer, her and Jonathan. One-on-one time then with Alex and Jonathan. He asks her, what's the weirdest thing about her? And she just laughs. We see then a boat on the horizon. This is the golden boat. Kathy ITMs, the Goldens are here, and we're about to get turnt once again, forcing this slang terminology on the older generation for, I suppose they believe it's funny. Keith ITMs, it's time for some cocktails and some senior moments. April ITMs being feisty, flirty, a fairy who has new knees. They make her do some chicken noises. FEMA does yoga in her intro and ITMs that she would be open to dating younger. Captain Kim ITMs getting beat up about his name as a young man. RJ ITMs that he's a 6'5" guy in finance looking for compatibility. Keith gets an intro with footage from his time in Golden Bachelorette. Natasha ITMs, she's 62 years young and she doesn't remember people's names. Kathy Swartz then gets an ITM that she says she's looking for her husband is a full-time job for her, and she says she's hoping for someone to slide into her DMs. Once again, that slang. Jack ITMs, people have called him a serial dater, and that's horrible. He's had a lot of fun for an old guy. Then he cannonballs into a pool. And CK ITMs, readiness to get the party started with his newfound confidence from his time as a rookie in Golden Bachelorette Season 1. The Goldens arrive with FEMA leading them, saying the party's here. They enter the main group, demanding shots to get this party started. Kat ITMs that they all look so cute in their outfits, hugs all around. Kat then ITMs, this excitement is what they needed. Captain Kim has a disposable camera and believes none of the young players will know what that is. Natasha tells Spencer she was sitting on RJ's lap on the boat coming in. She gets Wells to smell the booty of a fruit, and everybody laughs. And April tells Captain Kim that she did not bring any underwear. Now, this is kind of the first glimpse we're getting of these Goldens, how they're going to interact. I will say this. They are bringing their A game. These Goldens have their one-liners. They are energetic. They are trying to get people to do drinks. They, just as in the regular Golden franchise, they seem to be operating without any fear of a bad edit or any fear that the producers are trying to do anything malicious or nefarious to them. And I think that is really the strength of the Goldens, and it will be in the regular franchise as well as here on BIP. They just don't give a fuck. They are here to play, period. Whether their plays are good or bad, who knows? But they are coming in on day 6 of Paradise. And I think, again, this is a mistake for me to believe that any of these Goldens are going to form a lasting relationship after half of Paradise is already over. Why were they not there from the beginning? There are just some mismanagements in terms of, I think, the believability of this idea they're presenting, that any of these people are seriously looking for a relationship. If you're bringing them in 6 days late, how can that be believable? Half of the show, or half of the shooting time at any rate, is basically over or close to it. I simply don't see why they didn't have them there from the beginning. But I do like their energy. I have to say, they are amping it up. Like I said, there just isn't that idea that like, oh God, is this bad? Or the producer's trying to trick me. You don't get that feeling. From the younger players, especially after what we just witnessed in this rose ceremony, you definitely get that feeling that the producers are attempting to destroy them psychologically on purpose, as they did with bringing in Susie Evans specifically to try and destroy Justin Glaze's relationship with Lexi. DLP then enters to formally greet them all. He calls the Goldens an injection of energy, and he says everybody's looking for love, and it might be strange to have different generations, but they're not expecting anyone to cross over the generation line. And then April goes, unless you want to. And DLP says, please don't make it weird. It's like, please don't make it weird. Dude, you're hosting the show in which you have the Golden players and the young players together on the beach. The implication that they would date is always there. That's the main thing, I think, that the audience is interested to see if that's going to happen. And I do believe it is going to happen with at least one Golden, if any of the rumors we believe are true. So for him to come out and be like, come on, guys, don't make it weird. There's this disconnect from the idea that like he is the mouthpiece of the show, but also just like a guy who's there that's like, come on, Goldens, please don't date the younger players, even though they're literally being told to do so by producers. It doesn't work for me, that attitude. Jonathan ITMs that they are hornier and more out there than we are. Natasha ITMs that she just got to Paradise and she's just getting started. Portion 3 begins. We get a comedy montage of the Goldens. Swartz is playing football and telling Spencer, you need a tall woman. Then she sits down and comes up to Spencer's waist, kind of prompting everybody to indulge in this like an oral sex insinuation, which Swartz seemingly didn't mean, but does laugh. This I thought was a genuinely funny moment. Spencer ITMs that April is Kat in 40 years, dead ass. And then we get this little montage of April and Kat as a dynamic duo package. And Kat shows April around the place. April's ITMing that they resonate together. April says all she needs is a monkey. Kat ITM's obsession with April. We get this one-on-one time with Kat and April admits she hasn't kissed anybody since her significant other died years ago. April doesn't understand swiping. She preferred the slow romance of phone calls back in her day, although admits to having her fast moments in the backseat of cars every once in a while. I loved this little moment between April and Kat. I thought it was one of the highlights of the episode. A dynamic duo between different generational players is exactly what we want to be seeing in Paradise. Whether or not they're going to make out or have a lasting romantic connection across that gender line, time will tell. But I think even if that were to happen, we would all think it was just for the cameras. This actually seems kind of genuine to me, and I would love to see them both making social media when they are allowed to by their producer overlords once again. Then we see Jill is at the bar complaining to Wells about looking for a guy who'll be nice to her. Wells says, it's slim pickings in Bachelor Nation. Just Wells is never, ever missing an opportunity to shit on the show, the cast, and by proxy, himself, and by proxy, the audience who watches the show. That is us. Wells Adams, every time you insult the people on the show, you are insulting us, the people watching the show. If we are watching bad people, what does that make us? It's just an attitude that should not exist, I think, in contemporary dating reality television, really contemporary reality television at all. We saw it in Beast Games a ton, this kind of condescension from the host toward the people on the show. who, by the way, represent us. We are living vicariously through those players. And I thought in Beast Games, it was way more Machiavellian and sinister in that show. The GOAT had it. Elon Gale's kind of disaster show on Amazon that took a bunch of old reality players and had them competing in this mansion to see who was the GOAT of reality television. That host was Daniel Tosh. All he did was shit on the players, the idea of reality TV, the audience of reality TV. He opened that show by Daniel Tosh walking through the woods outside this mansion in Atlanta where they shot it, saying, this is a show about reality TV, or as I like to call it, documentaries for stupid people. I'm watching it. You're calling me a stupid person. Thank you. So Wells Adams doing that kind of by proxy here. We see a new arrival, 21st Sand, Andrew Spencer. We get his intro package, including footage from Bachelorette season 17. He's back to find the one, he says. We see him building a sandcastle as the ITM's looking for something real, fun, and flirty. DLP meets him, asks him why he's doing everything in slow motion, because all of his intro package was in slow motion. Bad joke here. DLP gives him a date card. He enters to cheers from the other players. He talks to Natasha, who calls him amazing. He ITMs that Alex and Bailey are his type. He wants to take one of them on the date. It starts storming. We see Andrew and Bailey. Now, this is another point I'll make about bringing in Andrew Spencer. He's a fantastic player who has given so much to this game, to this franchise, in everything he did during Katie Thurston's Bachelorette season 17, everything that he did on his BIP season. He should have been here from the beginning. You're having night one players that no one remembers, and the whole joke is, who the hell are you? You're having them on day one, but not Andrew Spencer, not Susie Evans. Why? You want to front load. I mean, look, I've said this multiple times. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. All the players should be there on day one, period. The staggered entry, it doesn't really offer any value narratively, in my opinion. You get that little injection of like, oh, who is this? And then they show up and you're like, oh shit, I wish they would have been on the show the whole time. Why weren't they here from the beginning? You want your strongest players to be there from the start so they can have the longest narrative arc and make your show as entertaining as possible from the beginning. You don't want to have to waste an episode or two sifting through all the night one players that no one remembers, eliminating them, and then, oh, and now Andrew Spencer is at a deficit coming in because everybody else is already in some kind of a connection, whether it's a formal relationship or not. He's got to crack through those barriers, or his possibilities for choices are limited to the one or two players who are not in something serious or something at least agreed upon by the two parties to be a relationship or a partnership. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I wish he would have been there from the beginning. Nonetheless, we see this one-on-one time with him and Bailey. He says she has good eye contact. This is open gaze play speech. Bailey explains she is vibing with Jeremy, but open to going on a date. Jeremy went on a date the prior day, literally yesterday, so he's not been on a date yet. She ITMs that they vibed with great energy. Then we see Alex and Andrew talking. She admits to not having gone on a date yet, is open to going on one. He says he's a lot more spontaneous, and he says he's a type B in real life too, not just in paradise. She's like, I am too. And they talk about dirty laundry, and Andrew makes a sexual insinuation joke, and Alex delivers a full eye, full mouth aperture look of amused shock. That was my
face play of the game.
I love Alex's face plays. I always will. I think she's one of the strongest face players really in modern-ish history. I think probably after McKenna Dorn, she's not quite at McKenna Dorn's level. She was a face god, of course, but she's in there. She's in that realm. She ITMs that she can vibe with him romantically, and she hopes he takes her on the date. Kat ITMs that she wants to see Andrew take her on the date because of their nice energy. Andrew asks Bailey on the date. Instead, she accepts. Andrew ITMs the choice between Bailey and Alex was one of the hardest choices he's had to make. He's known them each for about 20 minutes. Bailey announces that she must talk to Jeremy before she goes on the date. And we get this one-on-one time with Jeremy and Bailey. She asks him, is it okay if I go on this date? And he's like, well, I know I went on a date yesterday, but you told me you were here for me. And what did that rose mean? I gave you my rose. And he gets super pissed. Jeremy reacting horribly to Bailey saying, I'm going on a date just like you did, was my error of the game. Now, It was difficult. It was between this and another play that happens later. But I think this play sets up what happens later. So I'm giving the error of the game here, and we will watch how this weaves into what I believe is a nightmare scenario for Jeremy that he's putting himself in for no reason. This is... You simply can't do this. It's a double standard. Clearly, he went on a date the prior day. Yes, she said, "I'm here for you." That doesn't mean she doesn't also get to explore. You did not close off, as they would say in Love Island. They are both still open options technically. So she's doing nothing wrong here. And she is, by all rights in paradise, owed this exact thing. You did this. I should now get to do this. And the real play is we both go off on our separate dates and we realize we like each other. You have to test the relationship, pass the test, come back to make the relationship stronger. That's the narrative arc they're looking for here. He clearly doesn't understand that. Ego gets in the way and he keeps pressing her saying, "Yesterday you said it was me. What are you doing?" Bailey then goes and tells the other women. She tells Alex and starts crying because she thinks Jeremy is really mad. Jeremy then talks to a producer about wanting Susie back, and Bailey plays tear play here. Alex STCOs her, even though she's heard it not getting picked by Andrew. Jeremy ITMs that he was thinking about giving Susie his rose, asks an off-screen producer if Susie already left, he wants her back. He's just spinning out of control here. And this is going to destroy him, I think, eventually. Portion 4, Jill and Kat and Jess are talking about Jeremy stealing Spencer. And he regrets giving his rose to Bailey. Or sorry, Jeremy telling Spencer, he regrets giving his rose to Bailey. He ITMs that he thinks Bailey played him for the rose. He's annoyed by her going on this date with the first guy that asked her. This is compounding the error. Bailey ITMs that she feels bad because she likes Jeremy, but she wants no regrets in paradise. A fair play. Spencer and Bailey, we see their date. They walk past a sign that reads Bodhi Tree Yoga Resort. And she ITMs... In her ITM, there's a chyron that reads, "Feels bad, but not that bad." So they're giving her a little bit of a fool edit here. They enter the room with 2 women, Annie and Susan, and they inform them that coffee is not just for drinking, it's also for uniting hearts. Andrew ITMs that he doesn't drink coffee, but Bailey is his cup of joe. They have to take off their shoes. Andrew says, "Don't look at my toes." He has a 1.5 on Wiki feet. They put their feet in the coffee, and Annie and Susan, these 2 coffee yoga practitioners, were my Jorge Moreno bystander of the week. I thought they did a great job here. We're back now to Jeremy. He's getting pushy with producers in an ITM that they have to let him FaceTime her right now. They're like, "Oh, well, we can do it after this ITM." He's like, "No, let's do it right now." I don't think producers like this. Certainly this is going to come off bad to other players. We've already seen that they will use footage against you in the edit. And so at a certain point, we didn't get it in this episode, but I'm expecting there's going to be a moment where he has to make a choice to tell Bailey that he made this phone call to Susie or not. They're going to use the footage against him, 100%. So he calls Susie. We watch him talk to her. She's like, "Oh, I'm about to get on a plane." And he's like, "Oh, I regret not giving my rose to you. We had a 10 out of 10 date." And she's like, "Well, I can't come back. You should see things out with other people." He's dejected. And this entire thing is just a disaster. It really means, ultimately, there's no real chance for him and Bailey. We see that he has to keep this a secret from her, or at least in the edit, we don't ever see him tell her out loud, but other people know about it. So it's going to get back to her. I think this has sunk his entire season. Certainly with the 4th audience, I don't think he looks good. And with the other players, I don't think he looks good. Meanwhile, on the date, Andrew and Bailey get into this golden bathtub of coffee. He says he'd drink her bathwater. I got to say, this date was kind of interesting to me. It wasn't like, none of these dates have been stellar, I feel like, but this one was interesting. I did like the set. I liked that they're like in coffee. It's kind of weird. Jeremy ITM's thoughts about what they might be doing on the date back on the beach. He's like, "It's spa treatment. I think they might be getting a sauna, a facial, some steam rooms." They put his head in the corner with circus music playing as we see footage of Andrew and Bailey massaging coffee on each other while they put fake moaning sounds over it. So they're these like little scripted kind of sketch things. I personally don't think they work in paradise. It immediately breaks the idea that any of this is real. The moaning they're putting over it is completely fake. The circus music, in my opinion, way heavy-handed here. We get it. You're fool editing him, but I don't know. I don't think this little thing worked so well. I appreciate the attempt, though. On the date, both Andrew and Bailey agree they're shaking. They don't know if it's from the coffee or because they're nervous. Bailey ITMs that they're both funny and easygoing. She rubs coffee on his back. He ITMs that it was relaxing and romantic. Bailey admits that she's never bathed with anyone before. And Andrew Spencer's like, well, I can't make the same admission. We do get a kiss here. Seems to be going well. Back at the hotel, Jeremy ITMs that he wishes there were women of his age. We get a golden moment with a bunch of goldens around the bar. They play Two Truths and a Lie and FEMA here on center stage. Now, she really is the golden player that I've been looking forward to the most because I think she got a raw deal by not being the first Golden Bachelorette. I think she was a standout on the first season of Golden Bachelor, and I'm glad to see her at least getting a second chance at screen time here, and she doesn't disappoint. She plays this Two Truths and a Lie game, and she's like, Usher fed me a cherry at a concert, Kenny GS'd me on a date, and Prince wrote a song about me. And all the Goldens are like, we know the fucking Prince story. That one has to be true. And then somebody guesses one of the other ones, and she's like, oh, what? You know what? I didn't do a lie. I thought this was brilliantly played. I absolutely love Leslie Fema. Congratulations to her on owning this moment. We then see Jeremy and Alex get some one-on-one time. He complains to Alex about Bailey and his regrets about Susie, and he divulges calling Susie in the ITM. She rubs his shoulders and is like, hey, it's okay. You don't have to feel bad. So he has now put the truth out there that he did call Susie. Another player is now aware of it. I just feel like that cat is not going to stay in the bag. Alex says she feels bad because she can't get there with Jonathan, even though they're trying really hard. She ITMs that it's perfect on paper, but it might be a me thing. She can't get there. One-on-one time then with Jeremy and Alex, she tears about feeling bad about this, how she's going to have to dump Jonathan, essentially. She ITMs that he's the dopest guy she's ever met, but she has to have the hard conversation. She walks past the group. They say hi to her, and she's like, oh my God, this is the worst time. How could you do that? And they're all like, what the fuck? She pulls Jonathan. We get this one-on-one time with Alex and Jonathan. She takes him to the beach, and she says she feels bad. And she tells him that he understands her most of all the guys there, but she doesn't think she can get there with him. Plays tears. He hugs her, and she's like, it's fine. It's okay. He ITMs that it sucks, but he doesn't think she has ill intent. He's disappointed because they put in the time. He gave her the rose, but c'est la vie. He tells her it's okay. She thanks him for making her feel better, and he ITMs now, not knowing where to go. Now that things are done with him and Alex, he's back at day 1 of Paradise. Doesn't know what to do. Portion 5, day 7 of Paradise on screen. Andrew Spencer runs down the beach. The guys are all working out. We see this big montage of the young male players doing their resistance bands and their weights and their lunges. Cut to Jack sitting on a chair slurping coffee. Like that, I think is kind of the best use of the Goldens when they use them to undercut like the seriousness or the whatever it may be of the younger players. And it's just like, these people are just here like having a fucking vacation, which is what Paradise should be. Bailey buries her head in her hands as she ITMs that her stomach hurts because she knows Jeremy's pissed her. She wants to focus on him still. We get an awkward moment between them as they eat breakfast. And she's like, my date was good. And he goes, cool. And they just kind of sit there in silence for a minute. Then they go for a chat as Jeremy ITM's wondering if he should tell Bailey about his call to Susie. The only way out of this, in my opinion, is to 100% tell her that immediately. And somehow you got to blame it on the game. You got to blame it on the process, on the producers. They were in my ear. They were telling me she wanted to talk to me, and they're just like scrambling my brain. I know how I feel about you, but you were on a date with him, and I don't know. I'm so sorry. That's the way to handle this. Instead, what we watch is a massive implosion. One-on-one time with Jeremy and Bailey. She tells him that she really likes him. Love level 1. He tells her he feels misled. She made it seem that she was into him until she was asked to go on a date with the first guy that came in. She says she's still drawn to him and wants to be with him. He hugs her. He ITMs that there are more guys coming and that's a risk, but if it's meant to happen, that's what will happen. So it seems like they're kind of getting back together here, but he didn't tell her about the Susie call. That is going to bite him in the ass. That is going to come out. These producers will fucking make sure of it. And then he sunk. He had to have told her about it immediately in that first conversation. To withhold it is to lie about it, is to, in her mind, she's got to see that as him trying to get away with it. And I just don't think that's going to fly in this game, especially not how these producers are producing it. They, as I said, that footage is going to come back. That footage is going to be used against him, I believe. Golden's then in the pool. Jack ITM's wanting to get to know April better. She's gorgeous and unbelievable. She has a different outlook on life. She's riding a pool unicorn. Jack ITMs, he wants to kiss her. And then we get the first golden kiss in paradise. It is Jack and April. A great historic moment that will go down in the history books. April on her unicorn, getting a kiss from Jack. Congratulations to this first golden couple. April ITMs that it was everything she could have dreamt about. Wells ITMs, it will be sad if the first couple to go to the boom boom room is a golden couple and not one of the, as he puts it, youngs. Is there a boom boom room? I thought it was VIP Bips. What's the boom boom room? He's now referencing something from pre-Scott Teddy era Bachelor in Paradise that I don't know if it even exists in Bachelor in Paradise anymore, but I will be curious. One-on-one time, Alex and Andrew, he apologizes to her for picking Bailey. She says, no problem, but you did lose your chance. So she's not letting him off the hook easy here. And Andrew ITMs, look, I'm scared of Alex. Like, not, is this a fight? Is it not a fight? He tells her that it's a connection thing for him, not a rose thing for him. Alex ITMs that she doesn't want to feel like the second choice. Andrew says he still wants to talk to her and will keep trying to do it, even if she blocks him. He ITMs that he wants to be persistent with it because there's something between them. Portion 6, Jeremy gets a massage as he ITMs that things have been tense. So he's trying to get the image of Bailey and Andrew out of his mind. And then Bailey got a spa treatment, so he set up his own spa treatment, and he's looking for a happy ending in paradise. All these sexual innuendos. Jonathan then comes over to the massage table, as does Bailey. Jonathan takes over the massage, unbeknownst to Jeremy. Bailey then kind of squats down and gets in a little face hole and is like, are you having a good spa day? He's like, yeah, I am. And then Jonathan whispers in his ear, how does that feel? Jeremy realizes it's Jonathan, looks up, gets pissed, chases him around the beach a little bit. I thought this was a pretty funny moment. I don't know how scripted it was. It did seem like Jeremy was genuinely surprised by it. Very smart play here by Jonathan and Bailey to kind of set up a good comedic moment. Some golden chicken fighting in the pool occurs. We get a montage of couples coupling. One-on-one time with Andrew and Alex in the pool. Alex tells him that she would go on a date if she's asked, but she wouldn't kiss this person probably. And Andrew's like, well, would you kiss me? And he gets a kiss here. This is a great kiss lead-in line. Congrats to him. They both agree it was good. Alex ITM's feeling giddy, excited, and horny. Those are all good signs. We remember from a prior episode, I believe it was the last episode, she says for it to work with her and any dude, she's got to have that impulse to want to lick his entire body. Maybe that's what's happening here. Andrew tells her he's super excited and needs to chill. This, I believe, is an erection reference. Jonathan and Jill one-on-one time. She says, we went on the date and we're friends, and she's going to self-eliminate, but he's making her decision harder. She ITMs that she thought she was making the decision harder because he was romantically interested in her. She asks him why he wasn't pursuing her if that was the case, and she wants him to be upfront. And he's like, I meant, yes, you were making my decision harder because you reminded me that I like to have conversations, but I didn't exactly mean you. And she gets this funny ITM saying she had to do an x-ray of the document. She actually had to do an alpha ray scan of the document to figure out that's not what he meant, that he wasn't talking about her. And we get these funny graphics of like the meme of all the equations and shit in the woman's head. I thought that did work. She tells him that he should have been more upfront with her. He pauses for a second, and in his face, she goes, duh. Not a good sign. She ITMs that men maybe shouldn't be on this earth. This, for me, was the line of the season so far. This is it's not quite Mamacita level, but it's up there. This should be a meme. It was almost my play. You know what? Jill Chin saying men should not be on this earth was my play of the game. There wasn't a lot of strong play in this episode. I feel like there were a bunch of errors and just some kind of medium level play of people floating around. So Jill Chin, I'm giving this one to you because I loved everything you did. Jonathan ITMs that he's flirty and he likes to flirt with friends and play around. He doesn't think he's getting a rose now. Jill talks to Jess and Spencer about feeling crazy. Jess says, send someone in for my girl Jill, please. On cue, we see a man approaching on the beach. It's Shawn McLaughlin, the 21st Sand. He comes in ITMing. This is his third go-round, charity season being his first BIP 9, and now this. He ITMs that Alex immediately caught his eye. Jill ITMs that she knows him. He's tan and manicured like a nice hedge, and she wants to give him a chance. Jill Chin, thank you for your service to our beloved game. Thank you for everything you're doing this season and everything you have done. You are a pleasure to watch. We see he meets the Goldens. Keith ITMs that he's a good-looking dude, and he hopes the Ken doll will find his Barbie. A producer tells him in an ITM that he looks like Jason Priestley. He doesn't know who that is. Kat and Shawn go way back, and he says he's excited when he sees her. DLP emerges, gets everyone to come out, including the Goldens. Shawn tells everyone that he hopes the new environment will be more conducive to love finding, but if his Cialis goes missing, he knows who to blame. There's a lot of sexual innuendo jokes around the Goldens this season. DLP gives Shawn a date card with an ATV picture on it, and Jill ITMs that she makes the most sense for this date because she has been released from the throngs of Jonathan. Alex ITMs that she would say yes to a date too. DLP says there's one more thing. Get ready to know each other, especially those you're connecting with. There will be an exercise tonight. The third rose ceremony is happening, and the women are handing out roses. Shawn ITMs that he doesn't want to miss his shot. Portion 7. Shawn ITMs that he's never had a 101 in Bachelor Nation. 101 time with Shawn and Jill. She says she loves motorcycles. She ITMs that she'll take what she can get. If a man can give her a lick of attention, she feels fed, and she's starving, and she keeps doing this thing where she's like a Hannibal Lecter type thing, and it works every time. She's an expert at it. We get a brief comedic scene of April and Captain Kim looking at an iguana, and then we see some one-on-one time with Shawn and Jill. Shawn asks her on the date. She accepts. She ITMs that Shawn seems more like a super yacht kind of guy. She's more the dinghy kind of woman. And she thinks he likes to have fun, but he might not be able to get dirty. We then get this sketch comedy bit of him wiping mud on himself, then talking about a beef tallow skin routine. On the date, they ride the ATV around through the water and mud. They do indeed get dirty. She ITMs that she had a preconceived notion of Shawn as Ken that might not be right. She wants to get to know him more. They sit on a bench after the ATV ride, and we have this little one-on-one conversation. They agree this is a good time in paradise. He pops some champagne with her, asked her what she's looking for in a guy. Intelligence, passion, caring, soft. They both agree that they project with humor. That's how they deal with their traumas and griefs. And they agree life is not that serious. She ITMs that it's really good. He's cute and sweet. This is the most fun she's had since she's been there, and she's ready for a new start. They toast to that new start. Hopefully it's all up from there. We then see on screen 1 hour to a cast exercise. Some Goldens are hanging out in their hotel room, and a bat gets into the room, causing havoc as Jack is trying to get rid of it. Parisa comes to help get rid of it. This bat that almost killed the Goldens was my creature of the week. They eventually get out of the room, and they all survive. Swartz ITMs that those fuckers can fly fast. Portion 8 begins. Night falls. DLP disrobes, and we are watching a scripted scene. There is horror music score being played over this. He steps into a shower. On the mirror, written in the steam, are the words, "I know what you did last summer." We are watching now a fully scripted scene that is a commercial for the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. He jokes, "What did I do last summer?" It's not over. We see an ominous figure stalking DLP, like the I Know What You Did Last Summer killer in the fisherman outfit with the hook. And he runs from this figure, full horror movie scene, complete with fog. It's the killer from I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's Wells. Then DLP wakes up from what we think is a nightmare. He goes down to the bar to get ready for this cast exercise, and Wells has to act a little bit here. DLP is like, "Hey, did I do anything that was out of line?" And Wells like, "Well, you went on vacation last year, so we couldn't shoot Paradise." Ha, just kidding. Then he pulls out the killer's hook to do the ice, to use it as an ice pick for DLP's drink. And then DLP passes, and he says, "Try the margarita. It's killer." I'm not sure this worked. I see the attempt. I'm not sure this worked. There is something happening in this season, and this is a part of it. These breaks from the idea that any of this is real into a fully scripted, in this case, commercial. And thankfully, there were no players conscripted into doing this. So it's just the people that the show has hired. It's just your actors. Your Wells. Hannah could have been in this as well. She was not, at least that we saw. Maybe she got cut out. But it was Wells and DLP. I don't mind that they're having the hosts essentially do these scripted commercials, but to take so much time to do it. I mean, this was a full, probably minute and a half kind of trailer for this thing. Not even a trailer. It was just a commercial for it. It takes you out of it. So then right after this, when DLP comes together the players to talk about what this exercise is going to be, you're kind of on shaky ground as a viewer. You're like, well, wait a minute, is this scripted or is this part of that? Or are we now back into the show? It was an interesting attempt. And I get, what they're trying to do with it, to make like a blatant commercial for this movie a little more entertaining, to seem a little more integrated into the show. It does not work for me. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I actually much prefer like going back to Bachelor season 20, Ben Higgins, where they made him and Amanda Stanton go on a date into a McDonald's where they forced them to work at the McDonald's. That was funnier to me. Or when they had Hannah Brown and Jed Wyatt eating Halo Top in a park. It seems that to me is a little more like believably integrated. I don't know how you do that with a movie necessarily. Well, no, they did it. They did it with what was it? Wicked? They did it with something very recently where they had to go down the yellow brick road and all of that. I thought that worked pretty well. Anyways, I digress. DLP gives the log line of the movie. Your past can come back to haunt you no matter how hard you try to fight it. And everybody has to write down in this exercise your biggest secret from the past that nobody knows. Put it in this box akin to the truth box of recent paradise. They're all going to vote then on the most shocking secret. The owner of that secret then has a decision to make. You can reveal yourself and win this prize, whatever that's going to be, or remain anonymous and not get the prize. Swartz ITMs that these sweet young things haven't lived long enough to do anything salacious. Everybody writes down their secrets. Strategy here, in my opinion, is to say something absolutely wild. A murder, perhaps. I don't know what else. I mean, we get kind of a version of something that's like a little sexually aggressive, salacious, unbelievable, shocking, whatever. But I think your strategy here is to write the craziest thing you can think, whether it's true or not. DLP says they will all decide via majority vote, secret by secret, until there is a winner. Here are the secrets. On my final, I erased someone's name and wrote mine. I projectile vomited on myself in an Uber at 11 a.m. That is Kat. She, in an ITM, says it may have cost her $200. Someone says every time she had to toot in school, she blamed it on a boy. I believe the language toot to describe a fart made everybody think it was a golden, but it's actually Jess. OnlyFans account for their feet. They imply this is Dale Moss. Somebody hooked up with somebody 25 years older than me. Nobody knows who that was. Somebody found $500,000 and kept it. How that one didn't take the cake, I will never know. It immediately gets upended by, I spent a summer as a playmate with a female couple. I'm like, okay, somebody found $500,000. I need to know every detail of that story. Where do you find $500,000? I still am like, I need to know that. Please let that come out. If you're the player who said that, please make a Instagram post about it. I have to know this. The final secret is, I slept with another person in my home while my partner was in another room. That one wins. DLP says the owner can emerge and get an advantage. Kathy Swartz in portion number 9 does emerge as the secret keeper. She wins the key to the VIP suite. So we've already seen the VIP suite. Is that a big win? And what does it even mean? You get to like select one person. Could you have taken everybody up there? It's very gray area as to what are the rules of these exercises, these challenges, and what are the parameters of the victory. It's not working, in my opinion. It's all very like half step. There's not any creative decision being made about like, okay, well, what is this thing? What is this challenge going to win you? A key card to a room in the hotel we're all already staying in that we have already seen people go into. It's not much of a victory. Nonetheless, DLP leaves. Captain Kim starts to make a move on April. Jack ITMs that he only has one chance with April, but the captain is rubbing her shoulders. He wants to say he doesn't care, but he does. Captain Kim then goes to bed at 9:30, and Jack ITMs that the old people are all going to bed, so he needs to have his game on in the morning. Jack and RJ then are talking, and Jack says, the captain's swooping into my territory, and RJ says, that's the game. Open gameplay speech. Jonathan ITM's confusion at April, telling him as she's passing him where her room is. She's like, by the way, my room's right down the hall. He tells some other players. Parisa says she wants to then watch Jonathan and April having sex, pretty much. Again, they're always hinting at this. Is a younger player going to wind up in some kind of sexual interaction, romantic interaction with one of these older players. Schwartz then invites Keith to that VIP suite. He accepts. Jack offers him Viagra on his way up. He ITMs that every Golden should have some on him. He gets it all the time. Better to be prepared. Then we get this VIP suite. Keith and Kathy come in. They do some I Love Clevelanding. Again, we've already seen this room. The I Love Clevelanding of it is at this point irrelevant. The room itself, it's nice, but it's not that much nicer than any other thing we're already seeing in the resort. I just don't think the VIP thing works as a reward, as something even to be separate from like the resort itself, as a special kind of place to go. How to fix that, I don't know. Maybe you make a little thing on the beach or something. You give them a private little tent or a bungalow. Or I don't really know. But I think there's a lot this season so far. We're only in episode 3. That just seems like it's slapped together last minute. And I think this VIP suite is one of those things. It just doesn't feel like a VIP suite, in my humble opinion. It's like they get to be alone, away from the cast. They're sequestered. Maybe that part of it makes it feel a little VIP-ish. But the room itself, again, although nice, is not that dissimilar from everything else we've already seen. And we've literally seen this room already before. Nonetheless, they pop some champagne and cheers to great secrets. They hug. She ITMs that these are things that make memories. She feeds him a chocolate-covered strawberry, and she says, "That's all the cooking I'm doing for you." And I got to say, like, it is a true pleasure to see her on screen again. She's so goddamn funny. And I don't know if she's still even doing that podcast, the Golden Happy Hour one, if that got scuttled or not. But she is reminding me of why she was one of the standout players from her season on Golden Bachelor season 1 and why they gave her a podcast. It was the correct decision, whether it exists or not. They pop some champagne. They cheers to great secrets. They hug. She ITMs that these are things that make memory. Oh, sorry, I already did this one. Keith says he cheated in college, that was his secret, the test, that he put his name on somebody else's test. And she's like, "What? But you're a chemical engineer. Oh my God." And then he gets an ITM about he doesn't think they can take away his diploma. It's been too long. The young players then talk about them in the VIP suite and say it's cute. Dale Moss says somebody's getting clapped. That's the most play we got to see from him this whole goddamn episode. He was basically disappeared. Spencer says maybe they're reading the Bible. We then cut to the VIP suite to see Keith and Schwartz sitting in the hot tub talking about having sex in the backseat of a car. He says he's a confident guy. Keith says he has never done it. And she's like, "Well, I have." Schwartz ITMs that they had a great time and she was praying. He wasn't peeing in the hot tub. Always ending things on a joke. She knows how to use her screen time to the utmost, and I applaud her for that. Portion 10 begins. In the suite, they swim in the pool. Schwartz ITMs that her 6-year deceased husband would want her to find someone new. She feeds him another strawberry, and she plays an IFI that he bit her finger. They cheers to him playing along with her. With the arms intertwined again, they do this thing where they kind of put the champagne glasses around each other and drink. We get no kiss here. That's as close as we get. Would have liked to have seen a little more chemistry play, but I thought overall the VIP suite was used well by Keith and by Kathy Schwartz. They got in some funny stuff, some good moments. Back with the young players at the bar, Jonathan is now trying to apologize to Jill. He ITMs that the women have the roses and Jill is his last shot for a rose. So they're giving him a little bit of a villain edit here too, a little bit of a rose hunting for the wrong reasons kind of edit. And he says he was sorry to hurt her feelings. And she's like, "Yeah, my feelings weren't hurt. I'm just frustrated." He just keeps hammering it. We see Andrew Spencer ITMing, "I have my popcorn ready. I want to watch the shit unfold." Jeremy ITMs that Jonathan's stretching himself too thin. "You said she was a friend. Now you're in a tough position. You got to get a rose from her. It's not going to work." And he's adversarial to her in this moment, Jonathan, which is the complete wrong move. She's like, "Look, I don't understand what you're doing here. You said we were friends and now you're coming at me like this." And she's like, "I can't understand something that doesn't make sense." He then goes on the offensive. He's like, "Look, I get it. I understand you. I'm just trying to make sure that you're good." And she's like, "I'm good. Why are you about to cry?" And he's like, "I might." And he keeps saying his goal to make sure she's okay. She's like, "I'm fine, dude." Everybody's eavesdropping on this. It's like pretty clear that he is rose hunting here, and it's just not going to work for him. Jonathan then in an ITM says he doesn't know what he's going to do. And the producer asks if April is an option off camera. And Jonathan says, "In paradise, there is no age limit. Why not see what could happen?" And then we get our teaser for next week. The Goldens go wild. They're all making out. There's 6 packs. A new arrival. Dale Moss might be going on a date. 3 people go home. April pursues Jonathan. Dale and Kat fight. April has her pick of the Goldens. Bailey is totally mind fucked. That's it for this episode. So where are we now with Paradise? We are 3 episodes in. The Goldens have arrived. I think... I don't know. I should say my MVP, by the way. For her shutting down of Jonathan, for her saying men should not exist on this planet, and for bringing what I truly believe is the greatest comedic performance of anybody so far in this season, including Kathy Swartz, who is giving her a run for her money, by the way. My MVP is Jill Chin. Thank you, Jill Chin, once again, for all you have given to Bachelor Nation, all you continue to give in this current season. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I'm glad that the rose is in your hand. Hopefully somehow this will work for you. But I don't know where we are with this season, to be honest. Like, I've said this a couple of times, and I will stand by it. I think what Scott Teddy is doing, or was tasked to do, I believe he's doing the best he can. And there are moments of, I won't say brilliance. There are glimmers of hope coming from this season for me. Using Kathy Swartz in the way he's using her. Giving Jill Chin kind of free reign to make fun of players and all this kind of stuff in this episode is that for me. I love the way the show looks. I do think it was in massive need of this facelift, and it does look good. Those things are all great. And his willingness to kind of like take what was there. And I believe he's taking notes from ABC, Warner Brothers, potentially some of the old kind of like producerial tier, the old attitude of what the show has to be. He is taking those notes. And I think bringing in Susie Evans late to try and sabotage Glaze was probably a part of that note. So maybe he's over a barrel there. Maybe he can't do anything different. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping. And he's trying to make the most of it. You can feel that coming through. There's effort being applied here. And yes, there are some misses. Like for me personally, the breaking of the fourth wall for these little sketch comedy bits don't work, but he's putting effort toward it in a real way. It doesn't seem like, it's not like Sally's Suitcase. It's not like the Poop Baby, which is just kind of like low hanging dumb fruit at the expense of the players. This is a little more artistic. He's using the frame better to put people's heads in or to do whatever he's using like the tidal wave transitions in the last episode. I'm enthused by these things because it means that he at least is like giving it his all. Up to season 9, Bachelor in Paradise, especially in those last like 7, 8, and 9, it just felt like the producers were tired, that nobody wanted to be there. Nobody wanted to be making the show. So I give Scott Teddy a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. Even the things that don't work, at least it still seems like there's fresh eyes on it and there are new things being tried with enthusiasm. That to me is a very good sign because in the history of the game, we always kind of break it down into its eras. It's classic era, seasons 1 through 3, where it didn't change at all in those seasons structurally. And it was kind of like just laying the foundation of what this is going to be, a game of attrition by dating. I'm talking about Bachelor now, the main game, not Paradise. And then seasons 4 through 12 were highly experimental. We saw the addition of a first impression rose, group date roses, one-on-one date roses, different limo exit types were coming in, different date types were coming in. The amount of players was changing. The amount of episodes per season were changing. The length of time of episodes were changing. All these things were changing in those seasons. Then 13 through 24, I would argue, was kind of the crystallization, the modern era, where the format did not really change. We had all of the elements. And then after 24, we get the bubble seasons with everything that happened during COVID. And then we get kind of what I would call the decline, which is when Fleiss gets ousted right before Charity Lawson season starts shooting. And we bring in Bennett Gravener and Claire Freeland to run the whole franchise. And they did that successfully. Right into the ground is where they ran it. Now we have something different. This is the beginning of a new era. And so I am hesitant to just kind of like write off the bad things as bad things. And I mean, really, the only way to view them, I think, is that we are starting a new experimental era. Scott Teddy is going to try things. Some of them will work, some of them will not, just as they did in that experimental era back in the original Bachelor. I mean, let's not forget season 6 of Bachelor, which had 2 bachelors. It had Jay Overby and Byron Velvet came in on day 1. It wasn't even a night. They came into this mansion. All of the women were in a pool, and they got to watch them on closed circuit TV, unbeknownst to the women, very creepy. And then all of the women eventually got to meet them, and the women voted on which one of those guys they wanted to be the Bachelor for that season. They have brought back this mechanic one other time for Caitlin Bristow's season of Bachelorette, season 11. And it was a vote of the guys between Caitlin Bristow and oh my God, I can't remember her name, but she was another player from Chris Soule's season. And that, it didn't work. It didn't work in either case, but they tried it, you know? And so it's like, you have to try these things every once in a while to see what works, what doesn't. And that is what makes me most enthusiastic about having Scott Teddy at the helm of this. It seems like he is trying things, again, enthusiastically. As long as you're putting energy into it, and this job has not become like old hat and you don't want to do it anymore. That's what it felt like under Claire Freeland and Bennett Graebner to me. So I'm enthused by all of that. And again, I'm looking forward to Bachelor season 30. I'm also looking forward to see what happens for the rest of the season, like how the Goldens are going to be used and stuff. We got some indication, like I was saying earlier, that they are going to be part of that rose ceremony. They are going to be giving out roses. There are some spoilers that, might be happening. Oh, Britt Nilsson, I think, was the name of that other Bachelorette, by the way. But there are some spoilers potentially about Goldens at least making out with some younger players. So maybe that's going to be happening. But overall, narratively, I think, is where like the biggest problem is in this current season. And it has to do with casting a little bit. It has to do with bringing in the big players too late. There just aren't a lot of interesting stories that we're following. Right now, maybe the biggest one is Jeremy going to have to reveal that he had that phone call with Susie Evans in the ITM, which, by the way, he demanded from a producer who said, we can do it a little bit later. No, we'll do it now. That footage is going to haunt him, I believe. And that's kind of the thing we're waiting to see if that happens, if that footage is going to come out, how it's going to come out, and what the repercussions will be. That's really the biggest story. All of the other relationships are either non-existent or like stagnant. They disappeared, Dale Moss and Kat Izzo from this episode. Spencer and Jess, they're just kind of like sitting in the background laughing at stuff. There's just not a lot that we're rooting for in this season, I think. And that is a problem, because if you can't manufacture that story, it's like, it doesn't bode well, I think. But again, all that said, it's like, he got the cast he got. I don't know how much say he had in that. At any rate, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Jill Chin, once again, for putting this goddamn franchise on your back and carrying it around that beach. I will forever be in debt. She's fantastic. And we'll be back. When will we be back? I believe our next episode is going to be a recap of the next episode of BIP, episode 4, which will be out next week. I hope you will join us for that.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.